I'm never sure. It's out of my hands now, you see.
We just keep going.
Welcome, everybody, to the Outlawed Picks podcast.
I'm back.
What were you saying about me?
You get irritated by things that no one else gets irritated by.
You were the one
and then
sweating the last podcast.
That's not through irritation.
Because I was fucking with you about
I
your
wasn't
notes.
irritated. I was hot.
You were irritated. Because
I was irritated myself and my notes were wrong.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. It's coming out. Here we go.
All right.
Crack on the war.
All right. We'll do this.
Oh, is it? Everything's
Like
recording,
right?
Are you sure?
Yeah.
It's going to stay recording, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get up and do your lap. Make sure
I
it's
am
going
going to have
again.
to check it on, sir.
That's very confident, Jamie. Confident, Jamie.
He is. Sorry, I can keep. He's doing the war room thumbnail in there for Oliveira Chandler, which is going up later today.
Wicked.
Which will
Today.
be already up
It will already
by
up
this
before
time.
this, right?
By when this, yeah. Pass me the sunglasses. Pass me the Fight Island sunglasses, will you, please? Thank you.
Oh no!
Oh, see this. This is, and imagine the sound of that as well of this on the table.
Come on,
you
they're
banging
only
around and your chair creaking.
49p to replace. Do you know what I mean?
Come on, you got some stuff to do.
I do. Yes, we are sponsored once again by Unbound Merino,
Which is why he's got 15 layers on.
which I have 2 layers of Unbound on. As much as I love Unbound, 2 is the appropriate number. To have
He's
on
not
today,
actually that big, honestly.
even though it is kind of cold in here.
It's not
A
cold.
little bit. I see that. Yeah. Let's not get into that again. Let's not get into it.
Let's not get into
We've
it.
moved on. We've decided we operate at different temperatures.
I've
we've
doubled
moved
up
on.
today so I can match
Oh,
it.
there you go.
So
All
I
right.
thought to myself, well, because
Mate, you shouldn't be trying to look any bigger at the minute.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm just saying. You shouldn't be trying to look any bigger at the
I'm
minute.
fancying myself as a middleweight these
Although I was
days.
watching your deadlift earlier, it's looking, we're getting
All
there.
right, yeah,
we're
all
getting
right.
there, yeah.
I keep that stuff on the down low, you see. See, people are watching in the comments and they're like, oh, look at me, he's just eating loads and doing nothing.
Nah. Some muscle mass being
Well,
layered
that's
on
it.
it above.
That's it.
So we are sponsored by Unbound Merino. We love them. We have a great relationship with Unbound. And if you would like 20% off, drop Outlaw at the checkout and they will give you a discount. We're in our compact travel hoodies today, aren't we? Although we're not travelling anywhere.
I always feel a bit special when I put my my merino wool on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If anyone has merino wool, they'll know why we could bang on about it all the time, won't they?
Yeah.
Because it is, it's just great. Yeah. We love it. It's wicked. And we are also working with GetFanatics.app this week. So they are a new app company that you can make picks on. So there's no money changing hands. There's no betting to be done. But we have created a full reptile picks league on the app, which if you go to GetFanatics.app, you can download. And we will play along for the next few weeks, won't we? And we'll create a league and see who knows what they're going on about and who doesn't. She sounds a little bit too accountable for my liking,
well,
but
we
there
were
we go.
getting shit, weren't we, for the
Someone's mad, bro.
lost loads of money. Apparently.
Yeah, someone's mad, but you know.
Always gamble responsibly and all that.
Exactly. So, yeah, there's no money, there's no prize pool, there's no money changing hands. It's purely just for fun. But if you make some picks on the app, we will make our picks on the app and we can see how we're going. And I think it'll be a bit of fun. And then lastly, we've still got our offer going. If you go and grab one of our new Nalgene bottles, XBRAIN will send you an Alphabrain, a New Mood, and a sachet of Boost.
That orange lid does not look right on.
I love it.
I know
Obviously,
you do.
green and orange go perfectly
the
well
mechanism
together.
of the lid.
Yeah.
You don't actually like the actual, like the colour coordination.
I do.
Really?
Yeah, it's almost perfect. Not one bit of spillage either.
And you click it right in front of the mic. See, this is why Amy's always telling us.
I know,
that,
right? Now I know Amy's there. She'll just like lower that down a little bit, keep everyone from getting upset, and we're all good. It's just accepted behaviour now.
She's pretty dangerous, and you're the one that's.
She's also in Ireland, so I'm safe for a while.
She'll be here soon. She's coming over just specifically to strangle you with your merino wool hoodie.
Come on then. Let's have a quick review. Bellator was on the weekend, wasn't it?
Awesome.
And I just love watching it on iPlayer.
It's awesome.
At a reasonable
I
time
actually
of the
got a
day.
TV license.
Yeah, nice.
I actually got one.
Yeah.
First time in ages I've not had a TV license.
It's a bit conformist for you.
It is rather, isn't it?
It's very
I
out of
don't mind.
character.
I want to I want them on their stats to go, this person bought a TV license and then specifically went onto iPlayer and watched Bellator.
Yeah.
You know?
It was a good card,
And
wasn't it?
Repair Shop, which is the other thing I've been watching. I love that show. Have
How
you
did you
seen
get
it?
to watching
Have you
that?
seen that show?
No.
Well, the thing is, because I don't really watch TV, I only have the pleasure of watching TV when I'm in a hotel, which is either when I'm working or when I've been quarantined.
Yeah.
So I've been sitting there like researching on my laptop, and in the background I've got like auction hunters or
You
house.
love an auction though.
I
To
love
be fair,
auctions. I love
You
property
an
selling.
auction.
I love all that kind. That's why I've got these fancy glasses on. You see, auction hunters always have these weird glasses on. And that's one of the shows where people take cool old shit that means something to them, and they drop it off, and
sell
someone
their
repairs
soul for
it.
it. Right, they
someone
repair it.
repairs it
Yeah, I
and gives
see.
it back
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah.
And it's like this thatched barn.
Ooh.
And it's just a great setup. Yeah,
I lived in a thatched house when I was a kid.
Did you really?
Yeah, not round here. It was Bedford, I think.
Yeah.
We didn't live there very long, but it was like a
Was there
thatched cottage.
low ceilings? And small?
Yeah, I can't really
I mean, you
remember.
were probably small.
I was small.
weren't
It
you?
seemed massive. It'd be small now.
Yeah. Thatched. That's
Yeah.
something that most people outside of the UK won't really know.
Nah,
Where
surely
do
we
they
can
have
get that
thatched
anywhere
roofs
else.
elsewhere?
No idea.
That's where the name Thatcher comes from, though, obviously. It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that does make sense.
doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We won't delve into that now.
No,
I will
this is-
Google it later and find
yeah.
out whether thatched houses are anywhere else.
No, it is the Outlaw Picks podcast. I need to circle back. I've moved everything this week, and I'm not 100% comfortable with it, if I'm honest.
Well, it's your podcast, bro. If you want to move it back, just move it back.
It's our podcast. I'm not taking all the blame for it.
Okay. Well, when it goes right, I'll claim it.
Well, I've done an aftermath on Bellator 256.
You have.
The 3 fights really to talk about. I mean, Sergio Pettis, One Archuleta was a really good fight. Just a comprehensive mixed martial arts display by both guys, really. You know, just Sergio was a bit better, more on the front foot, you know, more aggressive countering. But the 3 fights that I talked about in Aftermath was MVP, Queally, and Rumble.
Nice. Queally, the pickaxe.
Mate, what an elbow that is.
Yeah, it was legitimately a hole in his head, wasn't there, at the end of it?
Yeah.
Just like, "Ah!"
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does raise the question, though,
Yeah.
you know, when do you stop a fight? Like at what point is a cut somewhere on the body too bad for a fight to continue? Because, it was bleeding, but it was bleeding down the side.
Yeah, well, it wasn't an eye issue, was it?
No.
So do you think the doctors got freaked out at the depth
I
of the
think
cut?
so. I honestly think so. Because, did you, I spoke
His brain ain't going to fall out,
Mate,
is it?
it was
Do you
just
know
a
what I
bit where he took the towel away and Pitbull went, what? Why? And he went, dude, look how much you're bleeding. He just showed him the towel. He's like, I couldn't possibly let it continue.
I mean, it's not going to get any better, is it?
No.
It's
But
only
how
gonna
much
get- it's
worse is it
only gonna get worse.
gonna get, you know?
It's like-
He's going to end up looking like an extra off Last of the Mohicans or something. They're going to take half
Yeah.
of his. It's not going to happen, you know.
No. I mean, conversely, I agree with the Canelo fight and stopping that. Do you know what I mean?
that was a structural damage thing, though, wasn't it? That's not superficial.
A couple more on there and shit might start falling out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine
There's
that.
just the structural compartment of that area of his face was just... There's 3 places, right? Broken in 3 places, yeah. There's not a lot holding that. There's basically
Amazing.
skin holding that together.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And the I know we're jumping about here a bit, but the shift in that fight was when Billy Joe Saunders stuck his tongue out at Canelo. I watched it back a couple of times. I watched it live, and I was thinking to myself, the commentators were divided on who they thought was winning, and I wasn't exactly sure why. And I kind of felt like they were looking for a way to score it for Billy Joe Saunders. And there were a couple of rounds where you could make an argument that he was being the more assertive fighter, but it was less because he was controlling and more because Canelo was kind of cruising. It felt like. I mean, that's just my opinion, because then when he turned it on, he was like, no,
He's just world class, isn't he?
He sets the world class.
That world class have that ability to do that, where they can just cruise and assess and, not take too much damage, not inflict too much damage, but they're just assessing what's going on. And then they're like, oh, I got it. I figured it. Right now, I'll put it on you.
Yeah.
And now it's done.
I mean, what was he when he fought Mayweather? Is he, 23? Can you imagine how much he learned in his first loss?
Yeah.
And the other thing as well, there was a really nice piece on BBC iPlayer, funnily enough, although it is on the DAZN app as well, which I've been enjoying recently. And it's like a Road to Greatness documentary on Canelo, and it's awesome. It's really, really cool. Nicely edited. I mean, and there's so many highlights from his fights as well. You kind of spoil it for choice.
Such cool shows, isn't they? They got a bit burnt with the...
they just got a bit repetitive
yeah,
after a while.
it's just the same thing. It starts with skipping.
And plus, they cost a lot of money. And how many fights get, reorganized or cancelled, or like
Yeah.
how many times did they make content for?
Well, how many times
Ferguson,
have you done a war room
Gaethje?
and had to put it on the back burner?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I just finished the Leon Edwards Diaz one.
Yeah.
And it's, like that's the problem with doing those shows. But when like HBO used to invest a lot of money in those shows, I used to be buzzing to watch a Roy Jones.
Knowing what we
Jr.
know now about how much it costs to create that sort of content, they must have been spending a fortune.
Yeah. Well, okay. No. Let's just rephrase that. Knowing how much they spent to create that content, like
in that format, the way that they've traditionally done it.
Like now what we actually know is that's not necessary.
No.
Like all that money was.
You don't need to pay 16 people to make that that one piece.
And if you find people that love doing that kind of stuff, they're going to do a great job. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
Like what the Raptors do with a MacBook and a GH5 is amazing.
Isn't it?
And like that, I think that's finding the balance is not spending too much on that promotional content, but making it really watchable. And they just smashed it with that Canelo documentary.
Yeah,
he's vicious.
That kind of documentary is like 30 for 30s, America's
Love
Game,
it.
behind the scenes for a big fight coming up. I could just watch that all day.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah,
love it.
Those old HBO ones, I used to watch them before going to the gym just to get me fired up.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, Canelo just looks amazing. You know, it's so interesting to watch how he approaches the fight. I might do a breakdown on it, an aftermath. I've seen a couple of people in the comments, but he was like just the way he was like leaning towards the power hand, and then punishing him for it when he was throwing it, slipping it, hitting to the body, beautiful. Pressure.
And dropping back to Bellator, MVP was not the same, but similar in some ways. He was just a level above, wasn't he? So slick.
Yeah.
Decimated the poor dude's nose.
Yeah.
That nose is gone forever.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there was a point, like, as I was playing it through on Aftermath, I froze it, and there's just a moment right before the foot lands, and you're like, that's the last time his nose was normal. It's the last time
it's never going to look like that again.
Never look normal.
You do all
again.
the reconstructive surgery you want, that nose is never going to look again.
Doesn't matter.
I really like him, man. I would say I've probably changed my opinion over him over the last few years because I've found a few sound bites of him talking about martial arts, and I just really like his outlook. Like he has that bravado, and he has that side of it, which seems a bit like a character, which lots of people play that. But he seems getting hot.
It's getting a bit warm in here.
It's too hot in here, is it? Your notes all right?
Someone press the heat button. I ain't got notes. I don't. Well, I've got those there, but that's war room notes from.
Yeah, I like him. I think he needs that Lima loss back, doesn't he? He needs to
I think so.
Fight him, and then maybe I don't know, man. Either Bellator recruit some people in there to really test him, or he's got to find another home, and if he wants to be, truly great and truly respected as one of the greatest, he's going to have to get tested, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a part of the free market now, and so all my opinions before were various and withheld. I want fighters to start thinking about signing with other organizations as well. I mean, like as great as the UFC is, and as much exposure as you can get there, there's good competition. There's a lot of money to be made elsewhere as well, and these are the shows that are coming up. Like Bellator are doing great things. One Championship are doing great things. I wish Rising were a bit more consistent and a bit more international as well. Like they have some shows where like everybody on the show is Japanese, and like as good as the fights
good enough
might
to go
be.
international. You know what I mean?
Sure.
If they just promote it and maybe bring some English commentary or analysis in there, I think their product is cool. Like Rising's a cool promotion.
Great promotion, and I love the fact that it kind of follows in the footsteps of Pride. Yeah, it's such an iconic event. But the problem is that these events haven't got a deep talent pool.
No, they just need a spree. They need a recruitment spree. All of them won, Rising and Bellator to some degree. They just need to go on a bit of a spree.
Definitely Bellator, I think, as well. I mean, they've got a good light heavyweight division now. That Grand Prix right now is really good. Anthony Johnson as well. It looked as good as I expected him to. And in the video that Mystery got backstage of him sitting real pissed off about his knockdown. Yeah. Like his post-fight interview, he didn't even know he'd been knocked down. No, He watched and he was like, oh. Yeah. I liked the dude. He was. We were friends before we fought. He's always been a real nice, respectful guy.
He's in great shape.
Fantastic.
He's in great shape.
And he's there because he wants to be now. Yeah. That's the most exciting part about it. Like he's not he's not there because he's under contract, and he's just like he's had that time away. He didn't need to come back.
He's back for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Good on him. No, it was good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah,
very, very good. And then fight night.
Yeah.
The UFC fight night. I was sad to see Cowboy lose again. I think I've proper got rose tinted glasses about Cowboy. Like I just,
of course,
lavender
tinted.
Yeah, there you go. I've got some hotel glasses that are rose tinted instead. But I just don't like seeing him lose. Whenever he fights, I want him. I want him to win. But Moreno was it was just a ball of energy and aggression. It was just a bad fight for him, wasn't it?
Moreno's a good example of how deep the welterweight division is. I mean, he's not ranked in the top 15, is he?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think he's ever been ranked either. But he's one of those guys that's always been a problem for his opponent, no matter who he's faced. And the other thing as well is because Cowboy's got such tenure within the UFC. Here we go. I didn't forget it from yesterday. That was the conversation we had yesterday. Because Cowboy's been around for such a long time, and there's so much footage of him, and you can see his consistencies. And everybody watches Cowboy fights when he's on. You know how he wins and loses. You know where his mental state's at, and if you're a fast starter and if you can jump on him, you can back him up.
Yeah.
It's just I've called a couple of Moreno's fights. I think I called his fight against Son Kanan, who's a big power puncher in that division. Zach Otto was problems. Max Griffin as well is a good win, especially now he's kind of turned a corner. Yeah,
he's found some form, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think Cowboy's going to lightweight.
That's what he keeps saying. I don't know why though. This is the thing. Is he going to lightweight because he feels like he'd be more competitive there? Because ultimately he's not
like big welterweight though, is he?
He's not, but he also might be too old to be forcing himself down to lightweight.
There's not a lot on him. There's not like he can drop a couple of kilos in body fat.
And according to his stats, he's 6'1".
Yeah.
Like I honestly feel like he should stay at welterweight, and there should be a bracket for these guys where they're not swimming in the same pond anymore. Cowboy, Matt Brown, Carlos Condit, unless I mean, you could say like if you put a 3-fight win streak together in the smaller tank, then you can move back over into the big tank. But like
hard sell to those boys though. Do you know what I mean? They're not thinking about it like that.
But then maybe not. I mean, like these guys have all got to be realistic with where they are. Like Diego was realistic with where he was at when he got put in there against Mickey Gall and
that's not a sentence I ever thought I'd hear.
What?
Diego was realistic.
Well, I mean, no. I mean, I think he can be realistic. I think there are unrealistic perceptions of his reality, perhaps.
Yeah, true.
But I think I think he understands that he was coming to the end of his career, and that like Michel Pereira was not a good matchup for Diego, and just not ever. Like it's just he's at a stage in his career now where he wanted a retirement fight, and Cowboy's getting to that stage now.
Well, I think he wants a win, and then he'd knock him on the head. He just doesn't want to go out losing.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
If he gets a good win, he might be tempted to not risk another loss. But then, like, if you think of that division at welterweight, and the reality is, if Tony Ferguson loses this weekend, he might be a good candidate for that. Move up to welterweight and get in that tank with Nick Diaz, Robbie Lawler.
Yeah.
I mean, who else? I mean, you could put Damian Maia in there.
Yeah.
You could put there's a whole bunch of guys. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like guys that are just not like. I mean,
it'd be a shame to screw them up and throw them away. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not
or
at their
use
peak.
them up. Or use them up. This is the other thing. Like Cowboy's getting kind of used up. Like he was used to bump Till. He was used to try and bump Leon. He's now he was used to bump the card because it lost Cowboy Sanchez. Like at least keep one of them on the card. They know as good as the fight between Marina Rodriguez and Michelle Waterson is. It's the card's massively limited by losing the main event.
Needed a name,
and they needed a Cowboy on it. And Cowboy
didn't need a name.
Yeah,
Marina was good, wasn't she? She's just good. It was tricky.
Yep.
Obviously, it was a tricky fight. Michelle was a tricky opponent.
Yeah.
She'll have to fight Carla again. Wouldn't you reckon?
I would think so. I think she needs to deal with a heavy grappler. I think that's going to be the question going forward. But then, this division's not top with grapplers, is it?
No, but they made the Carla fight, right, and it got cancelled, I think. So they must be thinking about... I'm assuming she would have won it because of the loss.
Yeah.
And then if it's been made already and then cancelled, I'm assuming they'll try and make it again.
I wouldn't mind seeing her fight Mackenzie Dern. Have they faced each other?
They might be. She might be one.
They've not fought.
Excuse me.
They're next to one another in the rankings.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So like that. I mean, that'd be a good fight. Rodriguez against Dern, or Dern against Esparza would be a good, because that's another thing as well. That's a favourable matchup from the promotional perspective, because they'd much rather promote Dern than Esparza.
Yeah, right.
You know, especially with fighting style and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Rodriguez, you kind of want to match her higher against one of the kickboxers like a Yan Xiaonan, or, I mean, Joanna's probably not going to take that fight because she's going to be looking up to a rematch with Rose.
Yeah.
You know?
I tell you who else. Gregor Gillespie is a machine, isn't he?
He looked really tired, didn't he? You know, they picked it up in commentary, they were talking about it. He looked exhausted.
But kept going.
Yeah.
You know, like he got to a level of fatigue, but somehow just managed to stay at his output almost. Yeah. I was quite impressed by him.
Did you hear what he said afterwards as well? He's like, well, I knew I had to get myself tired to get him tired.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He's you know, I think he's going to be a problem for a few years. The problem is now he's entered where he's in the rankings. He's entered the Makhachev, Dariush type area, hasn't he? He's going to have to fight one of them.
That's the matchup, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gillespie against Makhachev.
Yeah.
But then, you know, as we were saying, like I think it was last week, you know, if he beats Verheer, he's going to jump Kevin Lee, the guy that sparked him.
Right.
And now that's happened.
You know, maybe gets that back.
Kevin Lee's moved up, isn't he? He's moving up to welterweight.
Oh, is it? Yeah, right. Okay.
Was it? Did he call out Mike Perry? Did I?
He did. I think it was yesterday, last night, or this morning. Yeah.
It's that new mood stuff. I'm having some really mad dreams.
I could see Gillespie giving Dan Hooker a bit of trouble, bit of strife.
Yeah,
it'd be rough. It could be a rough night for him.
Hooker stands tall. He's there to be taken down.
Yeah,
I think Gillespie's got the tools to make everybody's night, difficult. I think Makhachev's probably his biggest problem because their style's so similar, and that would be awesome. Makhachev against Arman Sarukian was Sarukian's UFC debut as well. It was an amazing fight. It was like a MMA wrestling demonstration.
Yeah.
Gregor Gillespie against Makhachev would be fascinating.
Mate, that's probably
be a lot of bragging rights.
Co-main event. You could put that as a co-main event.
Easy. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's got to get to the stage where they start pushing Makhachev a bit. No one wants to fight him, and I don't blame him. You know, he's an absolute monster.
He's coming, isn't he? He's coming for sure.
But then, you know, think what Gregor Gillespie would get out of fighting Makhachev and getting a win.
Massive.
Well, he gets himself put in a situation where nobody wants to fight him, probably.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're sharks in that division.
Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it? It's horrible.
Yeah.
Very nice. So
RDA would be a good welterweight veterans division as well.
Yeah. I was thinking about that when I was thinking about Gillespie. Like, that's not... You know, RDA's going to slowly...
Can't we call it that 70s show and we give them all old haircuts and we'll just do it at £70?
Nice. Yeah, I mean, there's a space. It's a hard sell to those guys. I'm sure they would not want to be thought of as a veteran division. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just not a fighter mentality, is it? But,
maybe. I think sometimes
if you guarantee them 5 fights, 6 fights, you know what I mean? So it's like, you've done all this for us. It's not a pension, but do you know what I mean? Like, we'll give you 5 guaranteed fights. It's just going to be at this level. Mm-hmm. You know, UFC doesn't exactly work like that, does it?
Yeah.
But,
I mean, the thing is, the fighters can, like, the UFC could recommend the fighters step into that bracket.
Yeah.
And if the fighters say no, they don't have to. Mm. Like, if Cowboy's adamant that he's having another title run at lightweight, then he can say, no, I'll stick in the rankings right now, and the UFC just match him like they would anybody else. Mm. But, like, that's a conversation for... Instead of the UFC having a conversation with someone like Chuck and saying, hey, I think it's time you retire.
Yeah.
Like, have a conversation of, hey, you know, maybe step into the veteran bracket.
I like it. I like it because I don't like how you're shot up to stardom. They drain you of everything you can and then you just disposed of. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels like there should be something. I know, you know, it's not that conversation is being trying to be had, but it's being had. But like Diego and his weird mate is ruining the important conversation. You know what I mean? Like, I understand what he's trying to say in some ways.
Yeah.
Is that, you know, you build this guy up and then you just get rid of him, sort of thing.
I actually said that to Diego.
Yeah.
Like, I said, look, like, you know, don't let the weird stuff is like skewing the narrative.
Detracting
from what you actually
conversation's
got to say.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, I mean, it's just. I was talking about this with the Submission Radio guys. If you think of the lightweight belt and Khabib holding it, like, as soon as Khabib says to anybody, it's like, right, I'm having 30 wins and then I'm done. Like, in the back of the UFC's mind, they're like, right, we need to put a loss on his record to make sure that the belt maintains the value of the championship, right?
Yeah.
Because as soon as Khabib steps out of the UFC and he's got the belt with him, like, the belt that he's left behind is no longer the same.
No.
Especially if it's picked up by someone he's already beaten. Like, so, like, if Gaethje fought and immediately won the belt, it's immediately devalued because it's second place. Though. Exactly.
Yeah.
McGregor's the same. Poirier's the same, which is why none of those guys are fighting for the belt.
Yeah.
Then on the flip side, you've got the argument that, oh, well, Gregor Gillespie, Charles Oliveira or Michael Chandler.
They come up and win it, then we'll never know where they could beat Khabib, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't have a loss to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why Dana was clinging on to the idea of getting Khabib back.
Yeah.
Because
even just keeping him relevant and close to coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
GSP did the same thing at middleweight. That's why he was contracted to defend against Whittaker, and he didn't. And that's why the UFC wouldn't give him the Khabib fight when he wanted it. He asked for it, and Khabib asked for it as well. The reason it wasn't connected was because if GSP then wins the lightweight belt, same situation happens. He comes back, wins one fight, devalues the belt, and then leaves. And then who's left behind to pick it up?
Yeah. A lot of games.
Loads of games being played, you know, and everyone's a pawn in the game as well. And, you know, it's important to kind of recognise these things.
Absolutely.
It's
absolutely.
But you know, like, the thing is, if you recognise that it's a game, and this is where McGregor's so good. Like, if you recognise it's a game before you step onto that table, you can play it.
Yeah.
And he played it so well. And the thing is, like, I can see it in retrospect. Like, I feel like a fucking golden retriever looking back. I was like, who? Yeah, him. Okay, all right, you know, and I'd just fight whoever they told me to for whatever numbers were on my purse. And it was like it.
The whole thing is a negotiation.
The whole thing is.
The contract is irrelevant. Everything is. Every day is a negotiation with the UFC.
Exactly.
Yeah. What do I bring? How much is that worth? How close can we get to the two things?
Yeah. And what can you do to build your value?
Yeah.
So when you step onto that table, you're like, this is what I've got to offer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he was. He's done it better than anyone, I think. No one's come close, have they?
Well, he's opened the door and he's shown behind the curtain of what you can do.
And what you can get away with if you're making them enough money.
Yeah. Mayweather did the same thing in boxing. And now fucking Jake Paul's doing it in boxing. I love it.
Please don't.
I love it. I tweeted the other day and
he got filled in, didn't he?
Who? Jake Paul?
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
That was staged.
Probably,
that was staged. It was all staged. It was the whole thing was weird.
It's going to come to a head at some stage.
Of course.
And he's going to fuck with the wrong person.
But like Mayweather knows what he's doing. He's in the game for promotion now. He's in the game to make money. He doesn't take any of these guys seriously.
No.
And like the agreement's probably that he's not going to just blast them out of there.
Yeah.
Like the thing, like
legitimise him by taking him 5 rounds. Like, you know what I mean?
He'll put on a show.
I don't
mind it. I don't mind it. Make some money. Why not? People want to see it. Like celebrity boxing, celebrity kickboxing. I don't care. It shows how important the celebrity aspect of the fight is.
This seems like it's trying to masquerade though. Like being legit, like they're trying to convince people it's legit. Celebrity kickboxing, like we know they're not legit. They're just having a crack at the sport.
Do you think? I don't think there's nothing feels fucking legitimate about it. You got Snoop Dogg smoking massive cones in the back. You've got De La Hoya. He's just practically covered in
powder.
I mean, he looks like an Olympic skier. It's like I mean, I love the guy, but he's got to get it together. Like they had 8 commentators, and the only one that held it together was AC Slater. Which amazing. I mean, how surreal is that? That's
another sentence I never thought I'd hear in my life.
It was just the whole thing was kind of odd, but it was a spectacle and it felt like a spectacle, and people paid money because they wanted to watch the spectacle.
Mate, I have no doubt it will make lots of money. It's just not going to make any money off me.
Yeah. I liked it. I watched it.
Anyway.
Back
to let's legitimise this.
What
again.
were we talking about?
262.
No, what? No,
covered off fight.
I need to say one thing. Phil Hawes' conditioning is so much better than it was.
So much,
right?
Like,
what's going on with his hair though? Is that were they like stress patches? You know, sometimes you see that some fighters in training camp when they've been pushing themselves.
Might be stress-induced alopecia.
Is that it? You've seen it before, haven't you?
Yeah.
With fighters, with athletes, like. I don't know. It was kind of odd. Anyway, it was just something I noticed, but I did notice his conditioning was much better. Like he looked like he was able to dig a bit deeper,
I'd be fascinated to see or hear from his coaches what they'd done, because it's tough to turn his conditioning around, and they seem to have done it. I mean, it must have been a huge focus. I can't think of the last time he fought, but maybe that was it. They were like, look,
he's on a streak now, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's on a nice streak now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, the last person to beat him was that Martinez, where he got tired and head kicked in the second round. Magny and Jeff Neal was a good fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, Magny's it's just that pace, isn't it? It's just bang, 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 constant. Shows you don't have to be trying to kill people with every shot.
Yeah.
And what's nice is if you can take a bit of that Magny pace or that Diaz pace and then put a kill shot in every sixth, that's when you start being
he's
real
fought
dangerous.
So many people in the UFC. Like, you go down his list, he's not always won, but he's fought like the who's who, really, isn't he?
Yeah. His record's pretty good, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
he
lost to Chiesa.
I tell you, it'd be nice would be Vicente Luque and Magny.
Yeah, it would be.
It would be a fun fight.
That would be good.
But yeah, they're doing.
Where is he in the rankings now?
So he's 8th, but I don't know if this has been adjusted or not.
Yeah, it looks like it has to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it has. Yeah.
Masvidal's. I don't know.
What's Thompson doing? Is Wonder Boy matched?
I thought he was just matched.
Like, he's on the verge of a veterans division. He needs to. If he's going to have a run, he needs to hurry up. He needs to hurry up.
There's a bit of a new guard coming. Brady, Bilal, Hamzat.
Yeah.
That's the new guard coming up to replace those guys that've been around for a little while, isn't there?
Yep. Chiesa might be a part of that as well. Vicente Luque is definitely,
and Leon. To be fair, Leon's.
Leon's
got some fights in him.
Leon's about there now, isn't he? If he ever gets to fight again. Okay. What we're talking about now? We're going to move on to
262.
262.
Which we're going to do a ride along for.
We are going to do a ride along for. I'm buzzing for it.
Yeah.
I am buzzing for it. Okay, so are you on Tapology?
Yeah. So you got Soriano and Christos Giagos and Noah Giagos.
He is of Greek
Spartan
descent. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. He's of Greek descent. He's leaning into that. I like it. He's got a Greek flag on his shoulder as well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Bit of a decision maker, which is probably why he's
18 and 8, right?
Yeah. Are you on Tapology, did you say?
Yeah.
Let me get the right order up then, because otherwise we'll be... I thought I had it done. Thought I was organised, but I'm not. Okay. Yeah. Soriano's been in the UFC before. He lost all 3 of his UFC fights.
Second crack, right?
Yeah. But he trains with Robin Van Hoosmalen, and he's got good striking. He's got nice, clean power striking. He does tend to overthrow sometimes. But then if you look at the guys he fought when he was in the UFC, Kawajiri's, look at that. He was 8-0 when he came into the UFC, and he fought Kawajiri, who's 32-7-2. I mean, that was always going to be a hard step into the UFC.
Yeah.
Chaz Skelly, as we know, just drowns people with wrestling and pressure. And Charles Rosa's hard as nails, and he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and won the fight with Darce.
I just feel like he's just a bit limited. Like, he seems great on that. He seems at home on that second tier of fight promotions. Like, he seems to be able to get good wins there and live there. And then I watch him, I'm just like, he's sort of all right.
Yeah.
He's just all right. You can't imagine him doing much necessarily in this promotion. Not
really. I mean, his last 3 wins have all got a decent amount of experience. And Noah Lahat is a good fighter. He's 13-4. I feel like he's been in the UFC as well. I think he was. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be a warm the canvas kind of fight.
It could be a bit brawly as well. Christos doesn't mind a brawl, does he?
No, he doesn't mind a brawl. He needs a win, and he could do with a finish really, because he's not putting win streaks together, and the wins that he is getting, they're all decisions.
Yeah,
and the general feeling in the Carlton Miners fight was like, oh, come on, you got
to do something,
because he was controlling the majority of it.
I mean, on the flip side, his losses have come to respectable people. Do you know what I mean? Like Gilbert Burns, Josh Emmett, Charles Oliveira on debut. Fancy getting Charles Oliveira on your debut. Cheers.
People didn't know who he was though.
No, maybe not. He pushed Jacare close, like he pushed Jacare pretty hard.
Yeah. I think he's going to wrestle hard in this one.
Yeah.
I think he's going to try and ground Soriano and just drown him with top pressure and ground and pound.
Yeah.
The quicker he can get Soriano tired, the less threat there is with the punching power. For sure.
I definitely feel like he's got enough. He's got enough in his armoury to win that one.
You reckon? So you're going Giagos, are you?
Yeah. Giagos.
I'd agree with that.
No,
So Kevin Aguilar against Tucker Lutz. That's not at all a British name, is it, Tucker?
No, I don't think there's one person in England called Tucker Lutz.
No.
No way. He came out of the Contender Series, didn't he?
Yes.
But he's not fought in the UFC.
No, I don't think so. He's not fought with the print on his gloves.
No.
And poor old Aguilar is on a 3-fight losing streak.
It's rough.
And it doesn't reflect how good he is as well.
Against tough guys. Losses some serious guys.
Mate, again, Charles Rosa's in there. Split decision to Rosa. Tukagov and Dan Ige, as we know. That's a rough run.
It can skew your perception a little bit when you just see those 3 losses in a row. But, there's some decent opposition that he's lost to, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, he's a good boxer. The thing that he's paid for a lot of the time is that he's so heavy on that lead leg.
Yeah,
and because his striking style's so punch heavy, they don't have to think about other attacks. They don't have to think about too many body kicks or low kicks or anything like that.
It's one primary focus.
Yeah,
yeah,
and he's heavy on the lead leg as well. And because he's got a heavy lead boxing style, as soon as they start to damage that lead leg, it takes away a lot of his offensive.
I think he's got enough to turn it around against Tucker though. I think he's got some good grappling, but his striking looked, remedial-ish.
I mean, Tucker's coming off 2 contenders. Yeah, he's 2 Contender Series decisions.
Yeah.
He got that win over Chase Gibson, didn't he, in his first one? Yeah, it's it's kind of a bit of a it's a little step up for Tucker. Just to see where he's at with the guys that have already been in the UFC a while and have been in there with the Dan Iges of the world.
You've got to feel like Kevin's going to come off those fights knowing what it's like to fight against some really pretty much elite guys.
Yeah.
They're not too far away from the elite.
I'd like to see a bit more diversity from Aguilar in this one. I'd like to see him grapple a bit more. I'd like to see him use his ground and pound a bit more. I mean, early on in his career, he actually fought somebody in his 7th fight called Hunter Tucker and won by armbar. So I mean, that's something to bear in mind. Heavy top game, ground and pound. Do something that's unpredictable for Lutz, because he's going to be expecting heavy front
straight
foot boxing. Yeah. And he'll probably quite happily indulge in that.
Yeah.
Bit of a rough one, to be honest. I mean, 3-fight losing streak, pressure's on, and you've got someone that's coming in to make a name on him, for himself.
Yeah, he will be, won't he? First one outside the contender.
First time he's got those UFC gloves on.
Be keen. I think Aguilar might. I think he's got enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
He's gonna have a reach advantage. I think is he taller and. Let's have a look on the matchup. Oh no, Tucker's taller, but Aguilar's got an inch reach advantage. Yeah, 87% takedown defense for Aguilar as well.
That's right.
Yeah, good boxer. Good boxer. Decent defense.
Pressure
though, man. Pressure.
Tukalov was good in that fight, weren't he?
Yeah, he's good in every fight. He can be drawn into a scrap. That's the only real kind of downside I've seen to him, but. Yeah, Tukagov's a good fighter.
Yeah, I like him.
So you're going Aguilar, right?
I'll go Aguilar, yeah.
Okay.
You're going Lutz for fun?
I always go Lutz for fun. I don't know. No, I'm going to lean towards Aguilar because I just feel like he's got a lot of heart and he's backed up against the wall here. And he is a step up for Lutz. And I think Lutz might be a little bit too stationary for him, you know.
Yeah. Plus, if you've been up there with those guys, everything's going to seem a little bit easier to deal with, isn't it?
Mazany against Cachoeira.
Yeah, right. Cachoeira, she don't mess around, does she?
She's a scrapper.
She does not mess around.
That fight that she had with
aggressive.
Molly McCann.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if that fight had gone a little bit longer, the doctor would have stopped it for that swelling on Molly McCann's eye.
Yeah.
It was really bad. You know, by the time the fight had ended, it had swollen shut. She's a good scrapper. She's got decent hands. You know, heavy lead leg again, but
there's not a lot of finesse, is there? But there's a lot of aggression and power. She's a bit loopy, but that's where she generates her power from.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Gina is sharp enough to necessarily exploit the loopiness of Priscilla, but
I think she's going to be on that single leg. I think she's going to be snatching that single leg, taking it down up against the fence, ground and pounding from top position.
I don't think she'll mess around too long standing.
No.
You know, Mazany's a bit janky, isn't she? She's a bit she's got a funny rhythm to her, but she's one of James Krause's guys, I think. And
is she?
Yeah, I think so.
She's got Extreme Couture on her.
Oh, right.
On her thingy. Yeah, I thought she was in Vegas. I think she's Extreme Couture.
Maybe not. But yeah, that's what I looked at and I thought she's pretty strong, she's pretty powerful. I would expect her to get herself to half guard and beat her up from there.
Yeah.
I don't think she would want to take the risk standing for too long. No. Just because of the aggression that is going to come our way could be a problem, couldn't it?
Well, she'll get backed up. She'll get overwhelmed if she allows Cachoeira to push her forward. You know, heavy on the lead leg. She'd be smart to move around and keep chopping into that lead leg and then start working takedowns.
Yeah.
You know, she stopped Ostovich with ground and pound. That was third round, so she's got good conditioning, and I can imagine her to be. I'd imagine to have a better body lock control and that kind of stuff than Cachoeira as well. You know, she does get a bit excited, and with that intention coming forward, elbows come up and underhooks can be taken.
Yeah.
It should be a good scrap though. It should be a good scrap, but I think Mazany's got to get the fight to the floor, otherwise Cachoeira's gonna just tidal wave her. Yeah,
like if Mazany was like sharp and straight, I think she could pick apart the loopiness, but I don't feel like that's who she is really, is it? She's not a sharpshooter necessarily.
Not really. Not unless she's taken steps forward since her last fight.
Yeah. I think she got enough. I think she got enough.
You're going Mazany, are you? Then?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll lean the opposite way just based on pure aggression then.
Of course. Of course.
Jordan Wright against Jamie
Pickett, yeah.
Now, I've watched Jamie Pickett recently because he fought Nchukwi and we watched that for last week, and he tried to keep hold of him. He just couldn't keep hold of that power, you know.
Yeah.
Tall though, rangy fighter.
It's just a bit, especially defensively, he defends basically in a straight line a lot of the time, and it's a good matchup. I think they match up really well together. It's going to be a good test for both of them. Jordan's a big middleweight, isn't he?
He is a big middleweight.
Big dude.
Yeah.
He's Vladimir Machichenko, I think, is his coach.
Is that right?
Which is a name we've not heard for a while.
Yeah. What was he? The janitor?
Yeah. Yeah.
The issue that I have with Jordan Wright, and I think we discussed this when he was going into the Joaquin Buckley fight, he's been crushing cans all the way through his career up to this point. Like, I mean, literally go through his career. No fights, 5 losses. No fights, 21 losses, 10 losses. No fights, 1 win, 2 losses. And then he fought a guy with 7 wins and 3 losses. Then he fought a guy with 11 wins and 4 losses. And then he had 17 and 10. So like he had 3 fights where he had to step up. You know, 2 of those in LFA, 1 of them in the UFC. But when he got blitzed by Buckley, he looked deer in headlights.
Yeah.
And it's his first loss. It was the first time he probably really experienced that like raw power like that he saw against Buckley. And I don't know whether psychologically he's going to be the same coming back. And that was something. He's a bit kind of side-on karate guy, and
he's not going to get the same amount of power from Pickett, though, is he?
No, he's not. He's
the same style. There's some power there, but not the same like raw.
But I mean, these guys are middleweights, aren't they? You know, so what is it? Let me have a quick look at the reaches, because I'm thinking to myself is not necessarily him feeling the same kind of power from Pickett, but if he's on the end of a long reach getting picked off. Yeah, Jimmy Pickett's got a 3-inch reach advantage, but they're the same height. I can just see Pickett kind of picking him off at distance and then clinching him up against the fence and just frustrating him and not letting him get into a rhythm.
Yeah.
Like I mean, you know, I think Jordan Wright's fun to watch, but Pickett's had 5 losses and he's back in there and he's
picked himself up a bit.
Whereas Jordan's coming, he's coming off his first loss. He's a young kid as well, 91. Well, no, not that young.
No.
He looked young. He looked young in his career, though. You know, a bit like Sage Green, a bit like Sage Northcutt looked young when he stepped into the UFC. Like he's not ready for this kind of ferocity.
Yeah, it's another level in him. Yeah, right.
Not that should sway you.
No. I mean, I didn't
because I know you've got Jordan Wright on your notes.
No, I haven't. I've got it's a good matchup. I'm not sure. I think
is that your notes? Did you literally have to write that down? Yeah. Fucking hell.
Remember, it's a good matchup.
Where's my heat button? I was saying before we should do a donation thing. For every $10 donated, I'll turn the heating up for a degree or something.
You do not want to see me get naked on the podcast. This is too hot.
We need a sauna sponsor. I've been saying it for ages. We need a sauna sponsor. We need to be sitting doing these in a sauna. You know what I mean?
Beautiful.
Here we go. Or we could be sponsored by Hot Podcast. I'm all over it, mate. I've got ideas for days.
You do have ideas for days.
Always be wary of a person that's got comic book wallpaper.
They have a vivid imagination. Yeah.
One thing I will say is that these have got great nicknames. Before you make your final pick on this, we've got Jordan Wright, who's the Beverly Hills Ninja, against Jamie Pickett, who's the Night Wolf.
Yeah, I did see that. Right? Yeah.
That's like 2 90s movies clashing.
Yeah, what was the bike we had as a kid?
Rally Extreme?
No, with the noises on.
Oh, that's a
Not
question
something
for Owen,
wolf. Wrong podcast again, but Owen would definitely know what that is. I feel like it's something wolf.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Anyway, other podcast.
Make your pick.
I'm backing Jordan Wright.
Oh, you really? Yeah.
Right. Not White.
You got to say his name right first. Right. You got to say his name right.
Yeah, that's
say his name correct.
That's how much
Jordan
I'm
Wright.
backing him.
Okay.
I didn't think he looked. Yeah, I think he got overawed by Buckley and the power and stuff. But there was a couple of glimpses where I was like, oh, okay, he can move.
It's because he's got a confidence from an undefeated record.
Yeah, probably.
Beating guys up that got no idea what they're doing. 0-21.
There's nothing worse than like
a horribly inflated record.
Thinking that you are not even just in fighting, but thinking you are of something, and then taking that confidence, going into another situation, and being like, "Oh shit!" I'm nowhere near ready for this.
Exactly. He got knocked out by a reality check hook by Buckley.
I like that.
Okay, Andrea Lee against Antonina Shevchenko.
Antonina, yeah. Very tempting to not say that name right. Antonina, right?
Antonina.
Yeah, Antonina. I know. Yeah. I quite like Angela Lee, you know.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah. She's flipping strong, isn't she?
That's the banging.
That's minimal.
That's the banging. I'm telling you, that's what it is.
You reckon that's what it is?
Yeah, I reckon that's what it is. Is that what it is? Put it in the comments. That's what it is, isn't it? That's what it is. It's the banging.
Are you sure?
Yes, for sure that's what it is.
I'm not stopping. I need to be hydrated.
Put it on the floor or something. See, I've got an additional shelf. You've got one there.
Oh, there's not a lot of room, though, is there?
Yeah, no, it's because you bought your bloody Star Wars figures with you.
I absolutely did not bring that.
I'll create some space for you.
You got another mention.
I know.
I think you got another 2 mentions,
people
actually.
People love the Space Marine.
Yeah, Mr. T don't get nothing.
No. They don't like
Mr. TRT don't get nothing.
But this is where Owen's going to correct you because apparently it's not Mr. T. Apparently it's B.A. Baracus.
Right. I was here for that conversation.
You were here for that conversation?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't.
Anyway. Down real quietly. There you go. Actually, yeah, you're right.
That's what it is.
You might be right. That was quite.
How many times
was relatively delicate as well.
How many times do you say that to
weeks.
me? No,
weeks.
You might be right.
Weeks.
Well, we've got that one on record anyway. Andrea Lee, you quite like her, do you?
Yeah, quite.
I'm a bit confused by her whole get-up, cowboy hat,
She's a Texas
communist.
girl, right?
Yeah, but she's got the
she's
KGB and hammer and sickle.
I'm surprised she doesn't get shot down there for that
it's
kind
weird.
of
It's
kind of
like,
behaviour. Yeah, she's on a bit of a pretty bad skid though, right? She lost to Roxy Jojo and Laura Murphy. Yeah, two splits in the unanimous. Not big losses, are they? She's not far away.
No, I mean, she's a well-rounded fighter. You know, she's got skills everywhere. She's game, but she just got drowned. But then you look at those three, and they're kind of top. They're towards the top of the division right now. Especially, I mean, where are they? You're looking at like the three at the top, aren't you? Really?
Yeah.
But you got Laura Murphy at number 3, Calderwood at 6, and Murphy at Oliveira at number 9. She's just not quite top 10.
No.
And now she finds herself fighting. So she's ranked at 11. Andrea Lee's ranked at 11, and Antonina is ranked at 12. So it's a battle to hold position outside the top 10.
Yeah. The problem is Antonina is she's sharp, isn't she? She's sharp and fast.
Yeah.
And precise.
She just seems to get nullified when she's taken down. Like if you can take her down and hold top position, she doesn't seem to have the get up and go to move. If you stand in kickbox with her, it's going to be competitive. But like Chookagain and Oliveira, they're both able to take her down and control. And I don't know whether Andrea Lee can do that. But that's certainly
she's got
smart
some trip up against the fence. She's got some trips and some reaps and stuff, hasn't she? She's got a nice.
Yeah, you got to expect Antonina to be fairly strong in the clinch, though. I mean, they're both well conditioned, the sisters, aren't they? And you got to think they do a lot of that clinch work and grappling. Yeah,
I think it's a classic. If Andrea can get it to the floor, she's probably going to find a way to win there, isn't she?
Yeah, probably.
And if Schevchenko keeps it standing, I feel like she could potentially pick her apart. I just think she beats a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And she's in and out quite nicely. You can see the crossover.
Andrea Lee's got considerably more takedowns per average than Antonina. But I mean, less sub attempts, but controlling ground and pound. She's got a higher strikes landed per minute. But then they're opposites on reach. So Antonina's got a 2-inch reach deficit, but he's 2 inches taller. Southpaw the orthodox as well, so it opens up the kicking game. I don't know. I'm right on the fence about it, to be honest. I mean, both right outside the top 10. I think either of them at this stage need to do something impressive to bridge that gap and put themselves in an interesting place. And Andrea Lee been out for a while as well.
Yeah.
It's been a while since she fought. Has she not had a surgery or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't remember reading anything specifically about an injury, but...
Her last bout was September of last year. Oh, no, she broke her nose.
Right, okay.
She broke her nose, or somebody broke her nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that?
It's more like it.
I feel like there's a
story.
There's a police file connected to that as well. I feel like it. I might be getting confused.
I'm not sure.
It's not that kind of
show.
Yeah,
I mean, the sort of route for Andrea, if she can cut her off, if she can narrow that cage down and she can put her into a choke point with her footwork, because Antonina is, she moves really well, and obviously from who she's been training with all those years, but she can cut her off, put her up against the fence and use her trips and reaps, put her in a corner, then I think she can, she could probably win that.
You're thinking Lee by decision then? Yeah, it's a decent pick, that. This next
close
one,
though, right?
It's fairly competitive, but I mean, like I said, one of them needs to do something. One of them needs to do something.
Step up,
like top 10's right there.
Yeah.
You can be competitive. You've got the skills to be competitive.
Yeah.
Just do, we need to see something from one of them to validate them as a top 10, don't we? This is, for me, potentially fight of the night.
Agreed.
I know there are a couple of good ones on here, a bit later down the card, but Mike Grundy against Lando Vannata, I think is going to set the bar for fight of the night.
Yeah.
Like Grundy, he's such a strong wrestler, but he's quite happy to stand and trade. Trains out of Cowbond with Darren Till. Real smart dude. Real strong wrestler as well. It's bronze at the Commonwealth, was it?
Really good. I mean, I'm excited to see him. I think we talked about him against Nick Lenz before it got before it got canned. We were excited about watching him, weren't we? Like he's legit. He's really good. He took Evloev to a decision last time out, and it was tight, man. It was real tight.
It was a good performance.
Yeah,
and up until that point, he's looked really impressive. It looked really impressive. I mean, one loss early in his career on Bama to Damian Stasiak, who's also a UFC vet. Such a strong wrestler. Plus, he's also got that mind of Colin Heron in his corner, and they've got such a good tight knit team up there. You can imagine the energy's good. He's got Terry Ettin working with him on a regular, and I know his schedule is crazy as well. He's like up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
He's teaching the class, and then he's going over to this place to train, and then he's back over here to teach wrestling, and he's all over the place, like 100% invested in it.
Wicked. I mean, I've got high expectations of him. I think I think he can be really, really good.
Yeah.
I think this is just a fun fight. Like, Lando is super aggressive. He clearly just loves to fight. Love to fight. Sometimes maybe too much. Maybe
a little bit.
Yeah. He had a great fight with Matt Favola, didn't he? That was a back and forth there.
Like, if we were talking about fighter archetypes like we were the other day, Lando Vannata sits in that archetype with Cub Swanson and Eddie Wineland.
Yeah, the gunslingers.
A little bit hands down.
Yeah.
You can see the battle-worn cheekbones because they're taking more punches than they maybe needed to if their hands were up. Bit inconsistent record up and down, but he was on he was 8-0 coming into the UFC and made his debut against Tony Ferguson. I'm pretty sure that was short notice.
Yeah, it must have been right.
I'm pretty sure it was short notice, and he nearly had Tony Ferguson out of there in the first round. But ended up getting caught in a Darce choke, Bravo choke, in the second. But then he came in and KO'd John McDessie in the first round in his next outing. He's but then you're like, look at that. He's like loss, draw, win by Kimura, loss, win by decision, loss.
It's so inconsistent.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Since he stepped into the UFC, he was on such a streak, and then he's
he's got some nice techniques, man. He's got He's got a lovely kicking game. He's got some nice short elbows from a single necktie.
Well, that's one thing for Grundy to keep in mind, isn't it? Because he's either going to be in boxing range or in wrestling range, and he needs to make sure he's getting through elbow range if he's going to clinch him.
Yeah, I mean, my gut feel is Mike just has a bit too much power for him, and if he gets hold of him, he's going to blast through him and control him. But it's tight. It's really tight. I think I'd back Mike Grundy to win it, but and in some respects, it depends which Vannata turns up. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because he's that inconsistent. He can come in and perform really well, and we'll have a fight of the night, or. He could get put on his back and controlled for a lot of it and elbowed and punched to a win. To a finish.
I think that first round it could be quite a fight for Grundy. Especially if he decides he wants to wrestle from the offset when Lando Vannata's fresh. I think if Grundy kind of engages him with boxing but does it in an intelligent way and tries to get the fight out of Vannata so he wants to stop putting his foot on the gas and being aggressive, that's going to make Grundy's takedowns much easier. And I think once he's taken him down a couple of times and he's had him on the floor, I think kind of like what Gillespie was saying against Verheer, he's going to have to get tired to get Vannata tired.
Yeah.
But he might have to work to a point where Vannata's just exhausted and the fight's out of him, and then Grundy can start working him over on the ground.
I mean, I'd be amazed if Mike blew a gasket. Do you know what I mean? I feel like he should have a really good gas tank.
Yeah.
That's going to be a cool fight, man. I'm going to enjoy that a lot.
Really good fight.
Yeah.
Okay, next on the list is Jacare. Crazy. He's on the prelims. Jacare against Andre Muniz.
41, Jacare?
41. Against 31, his opponent.
Yeah. That's a big difference as well.
It is. It is.
Those years, that's a big difference. He's fought he just fought everyone, hasn't he?
He has. I just feel like he's been around for such a long time. He was what was it? Strikeforce days and Elite XC.
It was Dream.
That was it. Dream.
Look, I definitely remember talking about it.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, you've seen this Jacare guy coming on the scene here, and he's grappling with everyone was just going on about his grappling, beating Hodger. He'd beaten Braulio. Did they go 1-1 each? I think maybe.
I think so.
I'm just having
a look at his record.
Beating
now.
Damien Meyer. Yeah, I remember him.
Arm triangle, Matt Lindland in Strike Force. Rear naked choke, Robbie Lawler.
And then when he came over,
he lost to Braulio in ADCC.
Yeah, did they not get one each?
I don't know.
I thought previously or he got one back.
He's subbed some good guys though, especially like subbed him in the first round, like Ed Herman, Chris Kamosi, Yushin Okami, first round. That was punches though. Gegard Masasi, third round guillotine. Chris Kamosi again in the rematch. Stopped Vitor Belfort with ground and pound.
Then he went after his striking a bit, didn't he? He leveled up his striking a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, his boxing's always been good. He's never looked like snappy and loose.
Yeah.
Everything's always been a bit stiff, a bit kind of like he grapples, like he's got like a static control on somebody and he just kind of adjusts and controls. Like his striking's is just a little bit predictable, which is why I think Whittaker was able to kind of work him over and set him up for that head kick.
I mean, look, he's not the Jacare of old, is he?
No, he's not.
That's just...
And that knockout from Kevin Holland was so odd.
Very
Part
odd,
of me leans into the idea of maybe Jacare's not, maybe a bit more delicate than he used to be.
And he's 3 in a row?
Yeah.
I think he's lost 3 in a row, maybe.
Yeah, I think it is. 3 in a row. Hermansson, Bojovic, and Holland. I mean, it's not like he's not fighting killers.
Yeah.
His last win was Weidman back in 2018. That's a long time.
Isn't it?
That's a long time. And on the flip side, you've got Muniz, who's coming off a first-round armbar win over Fabinski, who admittedly is not nearly as high level as Jacare's been fighting at.
It's tough to
gauge it.
It's really tough to gauge it just because their opponents are so wildly different, aren't they?
Yeah.
The level.
I mean, there's a decision win against Paulo Filho back in 2014 on Muniz's record. But it's hard. It is hard to judge it. It is hard to judge it.
Look, he's a big dude. He seems to have some good ground.
Yep.
Ground skills.
78-inch reach.
Is he going to try and grapple with Jacare? I would imagine not.
Hermansson tried.
Yeah, true. I mean, he's 20-4. I think he's had a lot of.
He's got a 6-inch reach advantage, and he's southpaw.
That could be awkward.
That's problems. That's really awkward, especially for someone that might not be as durable.
Yeah. Yeah.
37% takedown offense as well for Muniz. That's something else to bear in mind. If Jacare decides he wants to get it to the floor,
he's probably going to at some stage.
He might be able to. And even if he doesn't get it all the way down, Muniz scrambling back to his feet does make a lot of things available for Jacare
to take home with him.
It doesn't seem right calling him Jacare though, because I'm not sure it's the same guy.
Call him Ronald.
We'll call him Ronaldo Souza. I'd like to see him successful, but I just think Muniz might be too much for him here.
You reckon?
Yeah, I mean, it just like you look at the cards on the table. Jacare tried light heavyweight, that didn't work out for him.
No.
He's picked up losses. He's picked up losses to good guys, but that last one against Kevin Holland was punches from open guard bottom.
Yeah, really strange.
Really odd. And it was like you could see him kind of slump against the fence after he took the first clean shot.
I don't know, man.
Have you got Jacare?
I don't know. Maybe he's got, he's so used to swimming with the sharks that he swims with, and Muniz is not. He's not been playing that game. He's been playing in the Championship. He's not been playing in the Premiership.
But if he's not looked in the mirror, you don't realise how much smaller a shark he is compared to Jacare.
Yeah, maybe not.
Like that, and that confidence from a win streak goes a long way. Plus, Bartosz Fabinski, I know he's not Jacare, but he generally takes people down and dominates them on the floor. He's a strong individual, and Muniz armbarred him in the first.
Yeah,
the first round? It was the first one.
True. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, first round.
Interesting. I don't know if I'm doing that thing that I do with Cowboy, and you sort of look back at those guys.
The rose tinted glasses.
Yeah, the lavender tinted glasses on again.
Yeah, is that the way you're going?
Yeah, let's get Let's get Jacare a win on that record. Stop his skill.
Are you a dreamer?
Yeah, maybe. Not the only one.
Okay, so Jacare is your pick. So the next fight, this is another contender for fight of the night. Schnell against Bontorin. Big fan of Matt Schnell, not only in his fighting style, but also his thought process. He's a real sharp individual. Speaks well, navigates the game very well.
You want him to go well, don't you?
Yeah.
I want him to get back on to right the ship a little bit.
Yeah.
Like he's a good dude. He's cerebral about the fight game. The problem is you remember him for his losses, don't you?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, he had a couple of rough ones coming out of Ultimate Fighter 24, didn't he? Rob Font and Hector Sandoval. But then it looked like he turned it around, and like triangle in Smolka, and then Espinoza like immediately afterwards, and also hand in Inoue's first loss as well. I think his confidence was up, and I think going into the Pantoja fight, I feel like I called that one. Going into the Pantoja fight, it was like this was his opportunity. He's fighting someone that's well respected. Yeah, I was working the desk for that. Like well respected, someone that if you get a win over this guy, it's going to go a long way. And it just like he was speaking.
And then he realised why he was so well respected.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's one of my favourites, Pantoja.
Yeah,
I really like him.
Yeah.
It was just rough, weren't it? Like the Rob Font one was, it was a tough loss.
Yeah.
And the Pantoja one was, it was. He just gets hit flush, doesn't he?
Yeah. Tyson Nam's a good win though.
Mm-hmm.
Even a split decision. Tyson Nam's a talented fighter with heavy hands, so at least he's been able to probably negate that the psychological impact of a knockout loss. Yeah. And then you've got Kai Kara France. So Bontorin is on a 2-fight losing streak as well.
He got starched by Kai Kara France, didn't he?
Yeah.
Bad.
And had no idea what was going on.
No.
He was still trying to fight on. That was when Kai Kara France did a lap, didn't he? And then came back to finish him off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got. I think Bontorin's got 14 subs on his record. Like he's legitimately got some threats there. But I'll be swayed towards Schnell.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah. But like we say, it's going to be close. It's going to be a hell of a fight. They both don't mind a scrap, do they?
I can see this. I can see this being a real mix-up of ranges. I can see Machnell wanting to keep it at distance and try and pick off Bontorin at distance, and I can see Bontorin trying to swarm with big power punches and clinch him and try and take him down. If Bontorin gets Machnell to the floor, I think there might be problems for Machnell though. I really do. Even if it's just to be controlled and beaten up. That's my concern for him because he's got good footwork and good movement, but that can all be taken away. And if Bontorin's in top position, he's not moving. No. He's about as wide as the table. He spreads himself so well.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see.
Which way are you going with it? You almost avoided your main pick.
Match now.
Oh yeah.
We'll see how Bontorin comes back from that knockout.
Yeah, I'm actually leaning the opposite way a little bit.
Yeah.
I like Match now, but I also think Bontorin could just drown him with grappling.
Yeah, right. Cool.
We'll see.
We will.
Burgos against Barboza, another contender.
Absolutely.
Another fight of the night contender.
Absolutely. Legend. Edson Barboza, a bit of a legend, isn't he? Like he's got so many highlight reel things around him. Not always wins, but he's he's a legend, but he's struggling against those top guys now, isn't he?
And I was so surprised to see him go down a weight class.
Yeah.
I mean, he was already shredded.
I know. Where's it come from?
I don't know. I thought he was going to have to go up.
Yeah, where's that weight loss come from?
I don't know. He's looked good though, hasn't he? He's looked healthy. He's not looked like he's killed himself to do it. Burgos is an awkward one because he just puts so much pressure on you. He's such an awkward in your face kind of guy, and the thing that you always see about Barboza in his losses is that when he's pressured, he's uncomfortable.
Right.
He likes to be at kicking range. He likes to maintain that kickboxing range so he can work his his techniques, his long range techniques. Like Khabib was pretty much running him down, and I'm not saying that Shane Burgos is coming in with any kind of real well thought out game plan, but if he was preparing for Barboza, the obvious thing is to be as close to him as possible.
Take that space away.
Yeah. And Burgos is much more of a front foot kind of heavy-handed fighter.
It's hard not to like Burgos.
Yeah.
Like,
he's fun to watch. He's a bit of a Tony Ferguson, isn't he?
Yeah, he looks very, very strong, well-conditioned, touch of New York crazy in there, I think. Like,
definitely a bit wild.
He's keen for a wild fight.
That sometimes costs him, though, and that's the thing with Barboza. Like, you look back to MVP at the weekend, like you've got one fighter kind of trying to mug him off and the other one's a sharpshooter and sets him up.
Yeah.
Like, I could see if this fight's at distance, Barboza would be able to pick him off. Yeah. Because, heavy on the lead leg. Right. Like, Barboza kicking into that lead leg of Burgos when he's standing heavy. The benefit is Burgos, he does switch his stance. So, you've got 2 legs to work. But still, I think the longer this is at distance, the more it's going to be Barboza just chopping him to pieces.
I felt like Burgos will win with pressure and durability. Like, he can take a bit of heat.
Yeah.
And he's just going to keep that pressure on him, shut him down in terms of space, even get hold of him at some stage.
He's got his strikes landed per minute. Shane Burgos' strikes landed per minute is 7.3 compared to Barboza's, who's fairly high at 3.9.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's a massive, massive output. And they're both 5'11", they're both 75-inch reach, they're both orthodox.
Burgos just needs a bit of finesse, and I think he'd be really good. Do you know what I mean? Like, that fight with Calvin Kattar was on form. That was he was in a good spot, and it was relatively close.
Yeah. Yeah, but like you said though, he can be a bit reckless sometimes, and I think like against someone like Calvin Kattar, who's always a front foot fighter anyway, unless he's getting pushed around by Max Holloway. Like, I think his craziness is going to work out better for him in this fight because it's gonna give him his style is naturally going to walk him into a range which makes Edson Barboza uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's good.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, but then if he's not smart about it and he does want to hang out on the outside, he's just going to get kicked to bits. Surely
he's watched tape and gone, the one thing I can't do is just stand on the edge of range and get kicked to pieces.
But then you look at his Tapology profile picture and you're like, well, that is a guy that's probably going to stand in kicking range. Right?
Yeah, I'm what? Yeah, kick me, go on then. Oh. Yeah.
Oh, now I'm banging. There we go.
Yeah, I'd like to see Shane win that.
Would you?
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the fence. I don't really mind. I'm a big fan of Barboza. But it's, it might be getting to the stage where he's just not competitive in the top. I don't know.
Might go in the Masters division.
I think I've still got this perception that he's just not going to be healthy as a featherweight. And I think that's maybe affecting my
so how many has he had at featherweight?
2. Lost to Dan Ige by a split decision, then beat Macklin by decision.
Yeah.
He didn't seem to have much firepower in either of them. And then before that, it was that awesome fight with Felder at 242.
Oh man, he's got a few losses, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got a few.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the last 7.
Yeah. And Gaethje blitzed him.
To like the top of the divisions, pretty much.
So which way are you going? You're going Burgos?
I'm going Shane Burgos, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna lean into Barboza then and say he's gonna be able to keep us at a distance with footwork. It's the bigger octagon as well, isn't it? Are they still in Texas?
I don't know where they're. Hold on.
Super Spreader Saturday. Toyota Center, yeah. Houston, Texas.
Good.
Yeah,
right.
I've got my glasses on, my tinted glasses. I'll lean towards Barboza. So Chookagain against Araujo.
Yeah, I really like Araujo. I really like the way she moves. She's super elastic. She's down to fight. And I think we're interested to see if you agree with me. But I really like her footwork. Like she's far from linear. She's cut into angles. She's in and out all the time. She's super quick. And she came in hot, didn't she? She came in real hot and beat Bernardo and Alexis, and then lost pretty bad to Jacare, didn't she?
Yeah.
But I think Jacare maybe missed weight. She looked big in that fight. I think she missed weight on that fight.
You might be right. She does. She does sometimes.
The only thing is maybe she moves so much she seems to drop off towards the later rounds because her her output is so high.
Who are you talking about here?
Araujo.
No, she's not fought Esparza. Are you talking about Jacare?
No. Jacare, yeah.
Okay, you said Esparza, I think.
You sure?
Well, we've got it recorded, so we can see. We'll wait until it premieres and then we'll see
live. Jacare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jessica Cave. I think she might have missed weight. She looked massive in that fight.
Yeah.
Not massive. She looked a lot bigger.
Maybe. Yeah, I know what you mean. I kind of feel like Chookagain she's technically good enough to hold place at the top of this division. She's not going to be quite good enough to beat Schevchenko.
Yeah.
I think 5 or 6 times out of 5 she beats Andrade with good footwork and a good jab. She's got good footwork. I think she's a black belt now as well in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The bit that she doesn't have is the grappling, it seems to me, to be able to ground fighters.
Right.
Like she's got kind of bookends, she's got really good grappling and she's got good striking and good footwork. And again, she's got good footwork as well. Maybe not quite as athletic as Araujo, but maybe a bit more considered in the way that she goes about stuff.
Right, okay. I thought if Caitlin could build some sort of tactical fatigue into Araujo and just slow her down just a touch, just take the edge off her in and out movement, I thought she might, that'd do her a lot of good. And then she could start dictating the fight a little bit more. Yeah. But I think fresh, I just felt like Araujo would probably beat her to the punch. She seems very, very sharp. Yeah.
I mean, you look at Araujo's record, like she's got 94% takedown offense as well. And Chookagain's got a 15% takedown accuracy.
Yes, that's probably not going to happen.
No.
But she wouldn't even need to take it out. She just needs to put her up against the fence, pummel, make sure she doesn't get turned off, do a little bit of damage, but really just instill that fatigue in her a little bit, so she can't quite be as sharp as she is.
Yeah, 5 inches taller but the same reach. Chookagain's got a 5 inch. She's 5'9" to Araujo's 5'4". Yeah, I mean, Chookagain for me, she's just got like a nice, steady, well thought out style. Like she's got good boxing skills and she understands how to apply them. She's got good lateral movement and she only steps into range when she wants to strike. That's something else that's going to benefit here against Araujo. But then again, as you said, Araujo's kind of tightly wound. She covers distance pretty quickly.
Yeah, real fast, yeah.
Like, I mean, she's going to have a speed advantage for sure. But I think Chookagain's she's intelligent in the way that she approaches the fight. And I think if it hits the floor, I mean, she's got good grappling skills and she's going to be active off her back. Has Araujo ever been subbed? No, she hasn't. She's been stopped once with strikes with Sarah Frota. And then Jessica I obviously is,
Yeah. I mean, it would be an upset, wouldn't it? Araujo to win that would be a pretty big upset, but... Yeah.
Puts another interesting contender up towards the top of the division, though. There's a lot to be gained for her here. Where is she? So Araujo's at 7 and Chookagain's at 2. It's a big risk for Chookagain, this one is. If you're Chookagain, you'd be hoping for someone like a Calvillo or a Maya or someone like that. Whereas Araujo's pretty, she's a big threat. She could quite easily cause Chookagain a lot of problems.
You're supposed to beat her because of your rankings, but there's enough that makes it a bad bet, really, isn't it?
Yeah. And if I was Araujo, I'd be hammering shots to the body whenever I got an opportunity. Because the way that she folded against Andrade when she took that shot, and I know Andrade's powerful, but it's very rare that you see someone reacting that way to a body shot. Normally they're able to hide it a little bit, but she was just like, "Oh my god, this is the worst feeling I've ever had."
Yeah.
Are you going Araujo for the setup, for the upset? Yeah.
I'm surprised you're not more about her. I thought you'd like her style a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean I think her style's good. And I agree she is explosive. And she's not linear, but it's less. She's not linear when she's moving, and she's more linear when she's attacking.
Right.
And that's where I think Chookagain's quite good, because she is good at like stepping off and finding an angle defensively, but also when she's attacking, bang, bang, and then steps around. And like Chookagain's footwork always stood out to me.
Okay.
And I don't think she's going to mind being taken down. So maybe if Araujo starts getting frustrated, she might decide she wants to grapple, feeling like she's the more physical fighter in there. And then she's in Chookagain's guard, working out of triangles and stuff.
Yeah.
Who did Chookagain sub? I've got a sub in my head. It might have been one of her older fights though. Yeah, no, it was one of her really old fights. I think she nailed an armbar from guard really early on in her career. Yeah, armbars, more armbars early on in her career as well, in her amateur career.
Right.
It's just a thought. I mean, like Araujo's got a big opportunity, and it's going to feel like that to her when she's walking out there because she's fighting number 2.
Yeah,
she beats her. She's one fight away from a title shot.
Yeah, she is. Yeah,
and she's an exciting person to put in there with Schevchenko. Like you get her a win against Chookagain, and you could even make an argument that she doesn't need to fight anybody else. She's beaten number 2. Andrade's just lost convincingly. And
you've got no one to put against Schevchenko anyway, so anyone that is up for it is...
Snakes and ladders, isn't it?
Anyone you want to feed Schevchenko if she's hungry.
Yeah. And especially if she's able to outstrike Chookagain, if she proves to be faster or stronger or both, you're going, well, we've got highlights for the Schevchenko.
You could build the package around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Araujo for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. Oh God, this is a bad fight for Tony. Is that who we got? It's Tony next.
Yeah, it's main and co-main now.
This is a bad fight for Tony.
Is it?
I think so.
Tell me why it's a bad fight for Tony. Because I got all kinds of shit because people think I'm hating on Tony Ferguson for some reason by saying the same thing.
Well, I don't particularly like Tony because I find him weird. But you have to respect.
Does he make you uncomfortable?
He does make me a bit uncomfortable.
When he's wrestling the hot tub up against the fence in his jet.
You've got to respect what he's done and who he's beaten. Because if you just flat out look at his record, it's a very impressive record. I just don't quite know how he's done it. I get how unorthodox he is, and I get he's a very different puzzle for people to solve. And he is tough as a motherfucker. Like, he has took some heat in some of those fights, and like it would have finished numerous people in that division. The amount he's took, which is not necessarily a thing to pin your ethos to, because that damage takes its toll. And I don't know whether he's the same after. I don't know whether he's the same after all of that damage he took against Gaethje, because Gaethje proper beat him up, didn't he? And there has to be even if that is off. So two things: one, there has to be a physical effect of that. Then he's gone from that, and then he gets completely dominated, not in the same way by Charles Oliveira, but gets shut out by Oliveira pretty much. Not the same physical damage that he took, but so he's gone. He's been physically beaten up. He's been technically and psychologically sort of beaten up the following time. Like, how do you come back from that?
And that's his thing as well, is he's known to be a good grappler.
Yeah.
And he was picked up and slammed to the ground. He was close in an arm bar. He was close in a triangle at one point. Like, Oliveira was all over him.
He was,
and Dariush is one of those bread and butter, solid, strong black belts, medalled at the Worlds.
When he gets hold of you, you can just tell by the way his arms and his... I don't know how big his hands are, but I bet you he's got massive hands, because he looks like he's got chimp strength.
Yeah.
You just swing through the jungle, no problem.
Exactly. It's years and years of gi.
Yeah.
Like clamping onto people. And it's kind of like it's a bit like a bit of a quicksand style game. He just kind of once he's on you, he just kind of stays on you, and he adapts his submission to make it work. It's that fundamental understanding again. Like, he's been competing at a high level in jiu-jitsu, and he's now competing at a high level in MMA and making the jiu-jitsu work for him.
He seems to be getting better. Like, Tony's clearly not getting better, but Dariush seems to be getting him. Every time he goes out there, he seems to be incrementing something to do with his game. Yeah,
I mean, if I play devil's advocate for Tony, so Tony was on a 12-fight win streak, right? And Tony's thing wasn't knocking people dead with his power punching. He was either cutting them up so they were a complete mess, overwhelming them, hurting them and then choking them out, or obviously the doctors or corners were stopping the fights, or obviously he's falling back on his submissions, his Darce chokes and his triangles and that kind of stuff. But then he took that fight against Gaethje at 249, and that was the first fight without a crowd, right? First fight during the pandemic.
Yeah,
first
maybe.
event the UFC did.
Maybe, yeah.
And I don't think he had a full training camp for that. I don't think he was properly prepared for it. And no one knew that Gaethje was going to level up. That wasn't the old Justin Gaethje that Tony Ferguson would have probably been able
flow
to.
bad, didn't he? Yeah.
I mean, like Gaethje was moving his head. He was stepping off from one side to the next. He'd learnt from his losses.
Yeah.
Like Tony's in the same situation where he can turn it around and learn from these 2 losses. Charles Oliveira over 3 rounds. If Tony Ferguson's going to do anything against Oliveira, he's going to need the championship rounds. He's going to need to cut him, and bleed him out a little bit, slow him down.
Yeah.
And we've never seen Oliveira over 5 rounds, and Tony Ferguson's a 5-round fighter now. So in his defence, I don't think we've seen the best version of Tony Ferguson because of those opponents that he's faced and the circumstances upon which he's faced them. I think this one's...
But is he playing that narrative in his head, or is he just thinking,
I don't know.
I got beaten up and then I got shut out?
I don't think Tony Ferguson has a negative thought about himself.
No, maybe
in
not.
his head.
Maybe not. That the craziness might be of benefit to him, mightn't it?
That's it.
Yeah, I can see that.
It is not soluble in defeat. Is that craziness?
Yeah,
I
can see Dariush almost with the same game plan as Oliveira. Get him on his back. He had a lot of double ankle control and sort of striking over the top and throwing his legs out of the way and striking. And Tony's unorthodox in it, and he's difficult to truly pin down. But I can see him in that modified top position doing a fair bit of damage.
Well, he's been difficult to pin down. He's been difficult to pin down until he's pinned down. And then under Charles Oliveira, he couldn't get out.
No, there was nothing.
And I honestly think that Beneil Dariush can probably do something very similar to him. And I think Beneil knows that. The danger for Beneil in this fight is Tony Ferguson being a whirling dervish of elbows on the feet.
Yeah.
And Beneil getting hurt. But then that takes me back to the Dariush against Jacare close fight, where he was kind of backed up against the fence. Close was getting real excitable, like Tony Ferguson does. Comes windmilling in with elbows and goes bam onto a left hand. And then he's doing the dance across the octagon next. And Dariush won't be just thundering punches against Tony Ferguson. He'll jump on a neck. Like he'll attack a submission, knowing how difficult it is to stop Tony Ferguson.
Yeah,
he'll be more intelligent with the way he approaches it. I mean, like when Dariush fought James Vick, like that was just a create space over the top when he knew he had him hurt. But I think with Tony, I think he'll respect his toughness enough to be able to think, right, I've got him hurt. Let me take him down and sub him right now. Especially after the vulnerability that we saw in the Oliveira fight.
That's the blueprint, isn't it? If
well, both. I mean, it's both pieces, isn't it? Gaethje did one side on the feet. Oliveira did the other side on the ground. Yeah.
I mean, look, Dariush is 9th in the rankings. I feel like he's the future of the top 4 or 5.
Yeah. But then I'm not counting Tony out. I think he's still got a potential run in him. I think he's unorthodox and problematic enough for these guys. And if I'm thinking positively about Tony Ferguson, I'm seeing him training at Wildcard with Freddie Roach and thinking to myself, okay, he's coming off 2 losses. He knows his time's running out. He's regrouped and he's doing things right this time around. I don't know whether that's the reality of it.
I don't know if he knows what reality is either. But yeah. The thing is with people that unorthodox is you can't completely write them off.
No,
because they always have that.
It's one spinning elbow,
random number generator, isn't it?
That's it. It's one spinning elbow, but people remember Tony Ferguson for the chaos, but they don't think about the chaos that you see in Beneil Dariush fights because he's not a lunatic when he's being interviewed and stuff as well. Like the weirdness is in his finishes, like spinning elbow against Holtzman.
Yeah,
that Jacare close finish was mad. His armbar on Drew Dober was just, how do I make this work? That was a mad scramble as well. What have I got my notes here? I've got that written down. Holtzman, Vick, and Close. He had 5 of 15 takedowns against Diego Ferreira, who we know is difficult to keep down and control, and he had 7 minutes of control in that fight. So that gives you a good idea of how good his grappling is. Yeah. I mean, 5 of 15 takedowns doesn't sound great, but 5 takedowns and 7 minutes of control is it's impressive. And he does well against taller fighters as well. He's good at trapping arms and heads.
My gut feel is this is just a rough match for Tony.
You reckon? Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it is.
Well, given the fact I'm wearing purple sunglasses, I'll lean into the opposite direction then, just for fun. I'm going to say Tony Ferguson's going to catch him with an elbow and hurt him and jump on his back and strangle him.
Keep the craziness going. There's no way he's going to strangle Dariush.
You say that, but you'd have also said that before the Gleison-Tibau fight. And Tibau comes crashing forward with punches. Tony Ferguson steps back, pings him with a counter. This is the thing with Ferguson. This is where people are misunderstanding my perspective. As a fan, I like Tony Ferguson because you never know what's going to happen. As a martial artist, he frustrates me because his skill and his experience is undermined by his decision making.
Yeah,
that's what frustrates me.
And I know there's no need for fluff. Like, you've got some really nice, solid techniques, and you chain them together in an unorthodox manner. You just get rid of the weird shit around the edges.
That's it.
And you'll be a great martial artist.
I mean, he's got a 4-inch reach advantage against Dariush. You take Tony Ferguson back to when he was fighting Kakuno, or who was the other? Was it Ramsey Nijam hit him with a big uppercut in one of his really early fights, or even when he fought RDA? He took RDA to a decision. At a distance, bang, bang, pick him off, not be there to be hit. If he does that against
Dariush is long. And Tony's even longer.
No, Tony's got a long reach, a 4-inch reach advantage, 1-inch height, but And it says he stands as orthodox, but it's absolutely not orthodox.
There's nothing orthodox about him.
So you're picking? You're going with Dariush?
I'm going with Benil, yeah.
Go on then. Tell me about the main event while I flip my notepad onto my notes.
Yeah,
we've got war rooms. Well, they'll be up now, won't they? They'll be up by the time people listen to this.
Yeah, I think so.
Are war rooms for this evening, Jamie?
Say that again, mate.
War rooms for this evening?
Yeah.
Wicked. Yeah, they'll be up.
So this will be out tomorrow.
Happy days.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, last time we spoke about Mike Chandler was his debut in the UFC, and I think I painted the picture that I didn't trust his record outside of the UFC, and then obviously came in against Dan Hooker and just decimated him, didn't he? And was super impressive. There's a reason he's getting this amount of hype, for sure. And I think we chatted about it yesterday. The narrative in this fight is sort of the bully against the geek in some ways, isn't it? Like, you can see Mike is all American wrestling jock, dominated at high school, absolutely smashed it. And then Oliveira clearly doesn't have the same amount of power output, but he's technically really, really nice, and he's crisp, and he's well studied, and you can see that he's studied martial arts to get to the point that he's got to. Not that Mike hasn't, but my perception of it is in a different way. Charles is very, very crisp with his striking, but Mike just has this superpower with his straight left and his straight right, doesn't he? And he just comes right down the pipe, and there's not a lot of people getting out of the way of it.
There's no fat on it at all.
Yeah,
none at all. It's it's a lot like Usman's straight punches. He really is able to nice and low in his stance, steps through, finds the chin through their guard.
Oh, it's gone. It's back. It's gone back.
Yeah,
and then you got the classic sort of elite wrestler versus elite BJJ play, and how that plays out. Oliveira, he seems, when I watch him grapple, he just seems in a constant state of movement. Like, he's very, very rarely stopped. If he's not rolling for something one way and you nullify that, he's immediately rolling back to a leg lock, or he's rolling arm to leg to arm, or whatever. But there's always something in motion, which I think for most people is very, very difficult to handle. With someone with Mike's wrestling, the non-negotiable in wrestling is obviously how to use your base and establishing a base. With that is ingrained to Mike's wrestling, it becomes it levels that up a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, he has a clear understanding of what he would need to do to stop those attacks from Charles.
Do you think his brain works fast enough to keep up with the attack from Charles, though? Because my thought is this: if Chandler spends 8 minutes in top position without getting subbed, he'll be able to take Oliveira down and control him for as much of the rest of the fight as he wants. But it will take him probably 7 or 8 minutes of being under attack from top position, with Oliveira working from bottom, elevating him with butterfly hooks and working for ankle locks and knee bars and calf slices and trying to chase to his back. And like he's going to have to spend a round and a half up against that in order to get Oliveira to the state where he's tired enough to not be as much of a threat. That's my perception when it comes to the grappling. When it comes to striking, it's kind of the opposite way around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like Chandler wants distance. He doesn't want to be chopped down and beaten up consistently because his leg's vulnerable, and he capitalizes on his speed movement in and out. So if he's fighting someone like Oliveira, who's got a more technical Diaz style approach where he walks people down from a high tie boxing stance, just peppers them with shots, kicks to the body, steps in with knees and elbows, has got a nice variety. If Oliveira is able to put Chandler up against the fence and do that to him, it's going to make Chandler really uncomfortable, which would then force him to grapple. And the danger zone for Chandler, I think, is less once he hits the floor and more the transition to the floor.
Yeah,
because he's going through that guillotine and anaconda range where Charles is really good at just stopping the takedown enough to jog his hips back.
Yeah.
You know, I was remember that little shuffle he did against, I think it was Clay Guida. And Guida shot in, and he got in a position, he just went, jog, jog. Guillotine.
Choke.
Jog, choke.
Yeah, nice. I mean, it's a fascinating match, isn't it?
Really is.
You know, it's one of
It was far more 50-50 than I expected. When I first started researching it for War Room, I'm like, I think Oliveira, I think Chandler at some point is going to level change and Oliveira's going to wrap him up. And I think
really?
That was what my perception was. But then I sat for a day and I went through Chandler's whole Bellator back catalogue.
Yeah.
I started at his very first fight and I watched all the way through, and he is just... He's super powered in his straight right hand.
Yeah.
I mean, what he did to Pitbull was just he decimated him with one punch. And now we've seen him do that obviously to Dan Hooker with his left hand, but he also did it to Ben Henderson as well. So he's ambidextrous with his power and his precision.
Yeah. Do you think I was watching the Felder fight with Oliveira, and I thought maybe that was a bit of a blueprint for Chandler. You know, you have to be like insanely tough, and have some sort of granite head to be able to do it. But he seems pretty tough. Like I felt like that's a way I could see that playing out.
Yeah, but then so then if you think you're talking about the Felder fight, See, the thing is with Felder's got one of those styles as well, like Oliveira's. But he's like Oliveira's more back foot, Felder's more front foot, but their approach is the same. It's blunt force trauma over and over again. Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
Like Chandler's more like a Wonder Boy in his approach. It's not, and you think, and I'm thinking Wonder Boy in a long stance with his snapshots from range. Chandler likes that foot space outside of striking range. Because when he moves forward with that jog, like think back to that Pitbull fight, right? It's in the War Room. Like as he throws his lead hand, it's literally just a smoke screen. He jogs both of his feet forward.
Just touches him, doesn't he?
And he just it's like a piston. And like you think Charles Oliveira in his Thai boxing stance, just kind of walking him down, trying to pepper him. That center channel could be Chandler's all day long. That's my thought. I can just see Oliveira getting pinged right down the pipe, dropped onto his ass.
But I feel like Chandler's going to come at him and put pressure on him. Do you know what I mean? He's going to take the centre and...
He might do, yeah.
Yeah.
He might do. But then I think he'll still maintain a punching range.
Yeah.
Especially if he's shooting into Oliveira up against the fence. He's delaying the inevitable of a choke when he's in there. He'd be better to shoot out in the open and drive straight through, get around the legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if he feels any arms around his neck,
bail.
Yeah.
Bail
hit the
quick.
eject button.
Yeah.
Hit the eject button.
Yeah, it's fascinating, man. I mean, I think Chandler just got it.
Yeah.
Sounds like you think maybe Oliveira's just
I am
got
literally split right down the centre.
Right.
I can see ways for both of these guys to win, and because I can see so many ways. Like I can see Chandler trying for takedowns, Oliveira scrambling and taking his back and getting his 8th rear naked choke. I can see Chandler getting backed up and slapped to hell because of Oliveira's pace and knees and kicks to the body, Chandler level changes and he goes straight into a guillotine or an anaconda. I can see both of those happening. But I can also see Chandler blasting him down the pipe with a straight right or a straight left and either knocking him out cold or hurting him enough to then jump on one of his submissions, and that would be a rear naked choke. And you've got to think, like, Chandler's only got one guillotine on his record, and it was from a position where he was up against the fence with his opponent on the floor, and he actually lifted them up in the guillotine to their feet to put more pressure on their neck. Other side. Oliveira's been guillotined twice by Lamas and by Pettis. So then think about that. Think about Oliveira being a bit desperate for a takedown because he's getting blasted by Chandler, or he's been hit and hurt, scrambles to for a takedown or whatever, and finds himself dealing with guillotines. Like, just because it would, but just because he's a really high level grappler, it doesn't mean that when fatigue sets in that he's not going to be vulnerable. And Chandler, I mean, Chandler's hip pressure in the Eddie Alvarez fight was pretty amazing, and that's the benefit of being a wrestler. As long as you're in top position, you're in your element. You know, it's a hell of a. I'm literally right down the center.
I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the ride along.
Yeah,
watching this play out live.
I can't wait.
It's gonna be a wicked fight. Yeah. I mean, like we said, there's three potential fight of the nights on there from the outset, isn't there?
Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
Yeah, when are we going to start? When are we going to switch it on? When are we going to start recording? I kind of want to do the Vannata Grundy.
What did we do last time? We did the main card last time. That's it. We do a couple of the.
I reckon we do a couple of the prelims as well.
We've got to watch Mike Grundy.
We've got to. So we'll do Grundy Vannata, Souza against Muniz, and then we're into the main card. That looks good to me. We'll have to get the pizza ready before then.
Yes.
Wicked.
Awesome. Yeah.
Nice
good.
one.
Done.
Another one in the bag. Thanks for tuning in. Merino will Unbound.
Yeah, unboundmerino.com.
Fanatics.
Yeah, fanaticsmma.app is the app, and we will get all of our picks onto the app so you can play along, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All good.
Awesome.
See you next week.
Enjoy the fights. See you at the ride along. Catch you next time.